Welcome back, everybody. What's good? It's your boy Joe Navarro. Welcome back to Unprofoundly Chill. My guest again this time is Wayne J. Bell Jr.
Thank you, bro.
Okay, so how long have you? Well, you were talking about before. It took you a while to figure out Wayne as an artist and your style. How long do you think it took you to figure that out?
My whole life.
Your whole life. How long until like you started to realize like, oh, okay, this is me?
Probably like a few weeks ago.
Just recently?
Well, let me tell you, dog. I'm 38. I've been creating art my entire life. I've been a professional artist for about 5 years. I've been a full-time artist for about 4 years. I never had an idea of who I was and what art meant to me truly until I, one, got to a point where I was mature enough to embrace it, and number two, entered into a space where I was humble enough to understand that this is a gift. A lot of times we confuse passions for gifts or passions for purpose. I'm going to break that down for you. So a gift is something that we didn't ask for. We're given this gift, and now we have it inside of us. The passion is the road that we take to purpose. The purpose is the thing unknown to most of us until a certain moment of like epiphany or, grand realization. So we ride this train of passion because the passion is the drive, but it's not the destination. The passion is how we get there. You have a passion for connecting with people, telling your story. But your purpose, what's your purpose?
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? I have a passion for creating. I have a passion for people. I have a passion for love itself. I have a passion for people walking into the identity of themselves. I also have a passion that people be able to grow from their own spiritual evolution. But my purpose is to create. So that I can exhibit these passions in a way that people can understand and they can see and they can visually conceive and perceive, That's where it lies. And my gift is art. My gift is my ability to create art.
Let's see.
And then you use your purpose to change the world, ultimately.
Change the world in what way?
I mean, you're dropping the bucket. It's just your drop. You're 1 out of 8 billion, both of us. You know what I mean? So at some point or another, we utilize our gifts, drive our passions, find our purpose. And then once we have our purpose, we use that as much as possible to the extreme, as much as we can take it, to hopefully positively impact others.
Yeah, and it's a crazy thing because like anybody can find their purpose at any point in their lives. It's not always immediate. That's why I'm so jealous of those people that figure out what they want to do when they're young, and they work towards it right then and there. Like in middle school, high school, they're like, oh, I want to be a doctor. Then you go to school to be that, and you're all your life you're focusing to be that one thing. I didn't realize I was gonna do stand up until like I was 25. That's when I first started doing it. And it was one of those things where I always liked it. I always liked comedians and jokes, and I've always joked around with my family when I was a kid. Most of my jokes were mostly dark though. There's a lot of dark stuff, but it was funny to some people. Some people didn't like it at all. Some people were just like, "Ugh, that guy's weird." And even though they didn't know I was joking sometimes.
You have a way of telling jokes without knowing that
That's what I like.
you're telling jokes.
That's what I like. That's my thing. Like that.
Yeah.
I know I'm always joking. That's what people don't know about me. It's like I'm usually always joking. I'm always kidding around, trying to have fun. But though because of the way I talk, some people don't really understand that I'm being sarcastic.
But that's not your responsibility.
What do you mean? It's not my responsibility for them to understand that I'm playing?
How people receive your jokes is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to tell the jokes.
Yeah, but I do want a certain reaction when I say it. I'm looking for a reaction. I'm looking for a laugh always. And when I don't get it, that makes me feel bad because I'm not getting the thing that I want.
So let's explore this. Is the joke still funny if no one laughs?
I'm laughing.
If the joke's still funny.
Is the joke still funny? In the sense of like me working or on stage telling a joke and it bombs, no. In that instance, it is not funny because the room doesn't say it is. They are the indicator for me at that moment. But if we're just talking, you and me, like right now, and I say a joke and you don't laugh, I'm still laughing because I think it's funny. The reason why I said it is because I think it's funny. Now, your reaction, it matters, but not as much because we're comfortable, because I know you.
100%.
Because me saying that certain thing is not going to change the way you think about me.
100%.
But if I say it in front of a crowd, it is going to change the way they think about me.
It is.
It's going to be in a negative sense.
Wait a second. How big is this crowd?
In my mind,
Mm-hmm.
like 50 people. When I'm on stage, like I'm usually going up to audiences about like 20 to like 70.
There's
around that.
confidence that lies in being able to stand on your delivery, whether it's received or not.
Confidence.
Confidence.
Yeah, that confidence. Now I'm not gonna lie, I have been more confident lately, but it comes off as arrogant sometimes.
Wow. What gives you that indication that it comes off as
Well,
arrogant?
the other night I was hosting Axelrad, and then it got to a point where the audience wasn't really with me, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do the things that I want to do. I'm gonna tell this one joke because I like this joke, and I don't care about your reaction, right? But once I said that, and then I told the joke, it got a huge pop at the end because I didn't care about the reaction or what was gonna happen. I just said the joke because I wanted to say it. Just being my most authentic self.
I think you should do that more often.
Yeah, but sometimes it's stuff that I say doesn't like always get that pop,
Sometimes people run red lights.
Yeah.
It's just.
But when you're hosting, like we even talked about this before, when you're hosting versus having a regular set, it's two different energies. Because like when you're hosting is like you're trying to rally everybody together and just let them know like, hey, this is a comedy show. This is how we do it.
It's a completely different approach.
It's a completely different approach. Yeah. If I was just doing my own regular set, of course I'm going to do the stuff that I want for sure. But as opposed to hosting and you're the first one up, you got to do your best stuff and you got to make sure that everybody can have fun.
I feel that.
And that's one of the things that like even when I'm hosting Axelrad, and I talked about this the previous episode with Nate Ortiz about the audiences there being real, and not real in the sense like they're physically real, but like they will laugh at the things that they think are really funny, well crafted, well thought out, and the stuff that isn't, they're not going to give you an inch.
Also true.
But that does make you better. It has made me better, but it also has made me worse in other ways too. Because sometimes I'm not thinking about like what's the funniest thing to me is like, oh, what can I say to get them on my side?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
And I've seen this from other comedians too, the way they interact with audience members and stuff like that. And I feel like that's a detriment to me, but it's also like it's part of the job.
It still has to start with your confidence though. Because the boldness to break down those barriers is what leads to those uncomfortable moments, which is what leads to those pops.
Yeah, but I also feel like the material and what I'm talking about does make people feel a certain way sometimes. And I to get around it is I have to write jokes that are more cleaner.
But internalizing that can mess with your craft.
Yeah. Of course, it's stifling me. Like my jokes haven't been to the point where I want them to be recently because I've been thinking about cleaner material and how to like not cuss as much and don't say certain things like. But that's also going to make me better in the end because me taking certain things that I'm comfortable with away will help me grow.
True.
You know, but in the sense of like, is it helping me grow to the point where everybody is understanding what I'm saying right now? No, I need to work on that more. You know, I think my biggest problem, if we're talking about this, my biggest problem with stand up is just like sometimes I don't know what to say to people. You know, and it's just like all the stuff that I've written sometimes, all the stuff that I worked out. When I'm in the moment, when I'm at that point, I'm just like, well, screw it, and I'll just throw it away and just try to figure it out.
And that's how you just get up on stage.
Yeah. Because like you can write as much as you want, but if you don't get up there, what's the point?
That's true. That's absolutely correct.
It's like with painting. Like you can think about doing something so much, but if your brush doesn't hit that canvas,
You'll never make a single mark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself in the world?
I think I have a long way to go in certain instances, particularly in regards to my sensitivity to things. Being an empath as well. I have a tendency to allow people to be free around me and not set up boundaries. And then once they cross those boundaries, I'm upset. Like I told them to do better and I didn't. So that I think is one of my biggest flaws. But I also, honesty is very important to me. I'm extremely outspoken. I am extremely authentic in that way. I'm very familiar with code switching and how to be in a certain environment and adapt to that environment. But I also have the tendency of purposely not adapting to environments when that time comes.
Yeah.
Also, like, you know what? I could behave, but I'm not. You know, so I know that that's part of me as well.
Yeah, that's same with me.
Yeah, 100%.
Same with me.
Let me check on the stew.
All right.
I've always been a friend that people feel they can look up to, that they can learn from, that they can consult with, that they can trust. So I like that. But I get in my own head a lot, which is kind of to be expected, but it's also like, damn, fam, you can't stay in your head. You won't get anything accomplished in there. So that's part of it. But beyond that, I just see myself as a guy that tries to do his best, man. And I try to stay open. I try to keep my heart open and my mind open so that I can not only see people for who they are, but what they could be. And not to say like being deceived or falling in love with potential, but the idea that you can't judge people. You can't take people for face value.
No.
You can't, you know what I mean? And that's good and bad, you know. You can't take people for face value because they might not be good people. You can't take people for face value because you can't judge a book by its cover. So,
but they also might be putting on a different face for you.
100%. So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, all in all, I see myself as a servant, somebody who's willing to serve, but also unapologetically themselves. And I think that I choose violence every day. I wake up every day ready to go to battle if necessary. That I do know. Based on my closest relationships and friends, I do know that I am constant. I am always prepared.
Always.
In that way. Yeah.
Yeah, ride or die.
I'm always ready to shoot, bro.
Whatever it is. It's
Yeah, I'm the hitman of the friend.
You're the shooter?
Yeah, I'm definitely the shooter. And that's just the honest to God truth. It's not even like trying to be tough or like, I've always been like that one unhinged friend, like that wild card.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, all right, Wayne's ready. It's just who I am.
Can always count on Wayne.
Hopefully. Get you a Wayne.
Get you a Wayne. Honestly, I think everybody needs a Wayne.
Hey,
But
bro, I'm humbled by that. Thank you.
not everybody should have a Wayne because, like you said before, if everybody can understand you,
They be you.
they'd be you. I feel like the people who do have a Wayne are very lucky to have.
Man, first of all, thank you for that. Thank God for that. But also what I learned from that, what I took from that statement you just said, is the nature of being understood comes from a place of wanting people's approval.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the main reason why I do stand-up is because I'm trying to get everybody to like me, to approve of me, to think that I'm funny.
You do stand up because you're a storyteller.
I'm a storyteller, but I also need that approval. I need that reaction. That reaction tells me that I'm funny, too.
So one day, if you wake up and you have this epiphany that you no longer require the approval of others, do you cease to be a comedian?
Yeah.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's part of the reason why I do it. I mean, if we're talking about right now, if I did not need any approval from anybody and I could just go off and do what I wanted.
Well, there lies the question. What would you be doing if you weren't a comic?
I mean, I'm in school for directing right now. Like, ultimately, movies have always been that
passion for you.
Not even just a passion. It's like that what's it called? Like that thing that an escape. It's always movies have always been that escape, and TV. Movies and TV have always been an escape because from when I was younger, when the bad things were happening with my family, I would just watch TV or watch a movie instead to get out of that world, you know, and use that as my outlet of like, oh, things are good now. Look, things are good on this show. Things are good in life. Things are good in this movie. Things are good in life right now. But that's just one of those things where I'm just like, I know how much.
Well, because you could live in that world.
And that's what I did when I was younger. Is like I lived in those.
That
worlds.
makes sense.
I
Makes
I
sense.
lived in a lot of worlds.
I mean, we do that with music. Music is a way of escape.
That's
we
another.
listen
That
to
was
music
another
and
escape.
it's just like,
Yeah.
you know what? Part of the reason why we put music on repeat is so that we can relive that moment.
It's funny.
That's in that song over and over and over again. So if I listen to this song and this song brings me this little 30 seconds, say the song is, 3.5 to 4 minutes long.
Yeah.
It brings you this little 45-second window, this minute window of like everything is right with the world. So it's like we put that song on repeat so we can feel like everything is right with the world.
Yeah. Musician, that would probably be the thing that I would want to do. I've always been scared of going up on stage with my guitar and like trying to sing too. That's honestly that scares me more.
Shit.
That scares me more than stand up.
That's insane, bro.
Yeah, it is.
You know what you should do?
Huh?
You should go on stage with your guitar.
Oh my God.
And you should like tell jokes while you like play chords.
I was thinking about that.
You should 100% do that.
But then like I'm also a purist too when it comes to stand up.
Okay, so if you're a purist when it comes to stand up, why not unapologetically be Joe full-fledged and full force? Because the thing is that will set you free in a way creatively that not only have you not traveled down this road before, but it's 100% foreign. It's 100% uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it'll unveil a new layer of yourself. Because at the end of the day, like you just said, you strive for your own authenticity. If you were to get up on stage strumming a guitar, first of all, people would never forget you because they'll be like, hey, bro, remember that comedian who could also play the guitar? You know what I mean? And it's like, wait, what? That would change things for you. And it not only would change things for you for the audience. I don't know why my voice just went high like that. But it would also change things for you internally.
See, one of the routes that I want to go through is like Donald Glover, Childish Gambino route.
Yeah.
Like get really famous with stand up and
the
then just
artist,
switch
and then
it up.
break off and do something else completely.
Yeah.
That you're also very good at.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
very
another
possible.
thing that I want to do. Like but to get good at this thing that I'm doing now, like I know I don't really have that much natural talent. You know, not as much as other people. Of course I have some, but not as much as others. Now, the only thing that will help me in the future is that dedication to the craft.
Can you play guitar?
A little bit, yeah.
Do you know your chords?
I know a couple.
I think you should incorporate that. I think even if you're at home, man, you should get in front of a camera or a mirror and just wear your guitar while you're telling jokes.
You know
But
what?
also work at the guitar, become a better guitarist, but also work through it with your comedy because you never know what that could do. You never know what that marriage could bring forth.
But it's funny that you say that because like the same thing that I do with comedy is just try to go up and be free with
Yeah.
nothing on my mind. That's how I play guitar.
Fam, you
And I'll
have
find-
to. I think you should find a way to combine those two things.
But I find these different chords or notes that like I've never like
Played
thought of
before.
played before, heard before, or figured out a way to get in this certain sequence, right?
You should embrace that. I think you should embrace that and embrace that discomfort. Embrace that discomfort, embrace that reluctance, hug that cactus. Because that could be the birth of not only a new person but also a new branch in your career.
That's a good point.
And who knows where that could go musically, who knows where that could go comedically, creatively in general. You're like literally giving birth to a new person, to a new identity.
I might do that. I might start like recording myself just playing first, just to get over that like hump, because like that honestly that gives me the most stage fright. Just being on stage with the guitar and having people just watch me and me strumming and thinking to myself, this isn't good. They don't
See,
like this.
and you never know how you could break that barrier, because say you get on stage one night with your guitar, just to break that wall down. Just to become that new person, to force that boldness and that confidence.
See,
And then the next time you get up on stage, you may not even have the guitar because now you've become that person to where you're like, all right, if I did that, now I can do this. Now I can.
dog, I go up on stage to like 3 people at a time sometimes. Like, okay, I'll tell you this. The other night, I was at Secret Group. It was like a midnight, late night open mic, right?
Okay.
And the crowd was good. They were laughing. The crowd was still there. I was coming up soon, and I was just like, okay, cool. When I get up, they're already primed to laugh. I can work on these new jokes, have a good time. Everything's gonna be fine. But the moment I go up, most of the room leaves. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only like 2 guys in the front. They kind of remind me of like Beavis and Butthead. Like their like personalities and stuff like that. They were talking even before I got up there, and I was watching them. And then once I got on stage, I saw them. I was just like, "Hey, so you guys are talking the whole time?" And then one dude was like, I wasn't talking, man." And I was like, "I was watching you right now." I was like, "Yeah, okay, I was talking." I was like, "What?"
Were you disappointed that you were down to those
No.
two guys?
I
or
was
did you-
disappointed at that moment. I was disappointed because they were talking, they weren't listening, and but
While you were up?
But before I was up, I was already in the mind state. Like I was good. Then I saw the crowd. Then I saw them talking, and I was just like, "Ah, fuck."
All right, so
But I'm not even done. While I was on stage, this random woman runs into the room and is like, "Hey, can y'all put my brother on stage?" I was like, "What?" She's like, "Hey, yeah, can you put my brother on stage?" And I was trying to crack a joke, and I was just like, "I'm up here bombing, and you're over here like trying to get your brother on stage. She's like, "Sir, I apologize. I'm sorry. I don't care. Like, I didn't know you were bombing. And however you live your life, or if you're not good at comedy, this isn't that. But my brother's good. I want to get him up." And at that moment, I was just like, "Oh, this is one of those nights where nothing. This was just like the perfect storm for me, where everything that could go wrong did go wrong in that set." And it was just one of those things that reminded me. I was just like, "Oh, this isn't for certain. You're not always going to get the best crowd, and you got to be able to deal with whatever." But that night, I bombed hard.
Well, it's good to be a craftsman. You know, I want to take that with what you said on the back end. We are constantly hammering at ourselves to make ourselves malleable to the next form.
Like sharpening a sword.
Like sharpening a sword,
Yeah.
like making armor, like shaping metal.
Yeah.
You know, we're constantly on the anvil with the hammer. And I think that in those moments, we shun the struggle when we should really embrace the struggle and just go with it. Because experience tells you that I'm pretty comfortable with cracking jokes when it's just me and one other person or me and two other people in the room.
True.
But the lack of confidence tells you that none of these jokes are going to hit if there are only two people in here, when I saw that there were just 20.
No, it wasn't lack of confidence. I was mad.
Right. But
Because
see,
there was a
but
crowd.
what got you out of that place? What made you mad? First of all, mad's not even a real thing. But what made you feel
Disappointed.
the way that
I was
you feel?
disappointed.
And why?
Because there was a crowd and they were laughing, and now it's just down to these two guys, and they're not even in it. If they were just quiet and they were laughing
And still observing.
and still observing to whoever was before them, I wouldn't have been in that mind state. But me seeing how they were, and not me thinking, "Oh, let me win them back. Let me change how they are." It's just me thinking, "Oh, I don't want to deal with this right now."
Well, I believe that it would have been beneficial for you to take that as a space where, like, now I'm just in a room with two people, and now I'm just going to have a humorous, relatable conversation with these two people, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, and then when that lady came in, if I was
Invite her in as well.
yeah, that I would have changed.
Actually,
Yeah.
bring your brother up right now.
No, I told her that. I was just like, "Oh, go get him right
Go
now.
get 'em.
And no. But here's the thing. While she was like, "Oh, should I get him?" I was like, "Yeah, put him up right now."
Yeah.
She's like, "What? Really?" I
With
was like,
me
"Yeah."
up here.
She was like, well, what can I do?" I was like, "Give me $20." She was like, "What?" She's like, "If you want to bring your brother up right now, give me $20. I'll give him the microphone. He can have my time."
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I mean, I would have.
Because at that moment, I was just like, "Well, fuck it. This whole the set is
This
screwed.
whole it's a wash.
So let me have
this
my
whole thing's
fun.
a wash.
Let me have my fun."
I get that. I think creatively, you know what I mean? I understand exactly where you're coming from, but I feel like a lot of times we don't see our tools as we're given them.
True.
And I feel like that could
True.
have been a tool instead of a disadvantage.
No, you're completely right. The way it was my mindset from the start of that set.
Because then it would have been like, all right, well, now you guys are all in on the joke.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
I'm going to invite you into the joke now. I saw y'all talking earlier, interrupting other people's sets. Now it's time that you guys are part of the joke. And then she comes in, my brother's funny. Nobody gives a shit. But now you're part of the joke. Actually, bring your brother up here. Well, right now, absolutely not, bitch, because I'm on stage right now.
Yeah.
That was a
But
trick
bring
question.
him in here because we need more
You know
audience
what I'm saying?
members.
Now I'm going to roast his ass. Come get flamed up.
Nah, it was.
You know what I'm saying? Let's see if you funny for real. You know, it's
You're
just
right. You're right.
being, it's
It's
one thing to say, yo, there's a storm coming, and then there's one thing to say, fam, I am the storm. And in that moment, you could have chosen to become the storm and just be like, damn, there's a perfect storm happening. Everything that can go wrong is going wrong. Instead of being like, you know what? I have also decided to go wrong. And sometimes embracing the suck is really what separates the men from the boys. I can get caught up in trying to produce the perfectly balanced composition with the right colors and the right amount of shape. But the minute I say, you know what, this painting's going to get done regardless, then I have to take those steps to just complete the work. And it'll be what it's going to be.
Man, it's funny that you say that. Separating the men from the boys, because a comic recently talked about how other comedians don't understand their presence and what they look like and what they sound like and their age, and they don't act their age. Some of these older guys try to act like younger kids and or 20-year-olds and try to hang out with them and trying to see what they like, but they're not.
Bro,
really,
just stay in your lane, dog.
yeah, they're not staying in their lane.
Stay in your lane and be you.
No. But that's the one thing. After that person said that, I realized I was like, oh, I haven't been in my lane for a minute. I just turned 31. I don't act like a 31-year-old.
Got it.
You know, and I realized I was like, oh, I'm one of the guys they're talking about, and it was just that realization. Is just like, okay, well then who am I now?
I think it's important to always lean on who you want to be, and then you'll learn from who you are on whether or not you're going in the right direction. That's what I've learned as an artist, because it's just like, I'm not always going to get it right, but I know who I am, and in the meantime, I'm just going to work at this. Because one day I know it's going to develop into this. I'm a visionary, so I need to be an idealist. Being a realist ain't helping. Being a pessimist ain't helping. Even being an optimist doesn't always help.
Yeah.
But being an idealist is like, all right, well, if I'm a go off, I'm gonna shoot for the moon. Because even if I shoot for the moon, I will eventually catch fire.
Well, you're gonna get somewhere. You're gonna get somewhere further than where you are now.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. If you're not gonna get to the moon, but at least you'll be somewhere higher.
I am the storm. It's embracing that in that moment. I'm no longer observing things going on with the world. Now I'm a part of this whole disaster, so to speak. Yeah, that's figurative if anybody missed it. Don't go, you know what I'm saying? Don't go start any trouble. I'm just saying,
I feel like
you could easily say, like, damn, man, I really hate the disparity of homeless people in Midtown. Or you can go to a local shelter and feed some fucking homeless people.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as you're just observing, making note, you're part of the problem. Or do you offer a solution?
Well, isn't that what a comedian is? Someone who observes and then talks about it?
Fam, but see, with the comedian thing, it's figurative, because your focus, your purpose is to get to the end of the joke so that you can unite people with humor. Being a comedian, and I'm not an expert, but I just know this based on like the philosophy of performance. Being a comedian is being able to unite any given audience with the humor of relatability.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. If somebody's sitting here and they tell us a joke and me and you laugh, in that moment, we are one. Because we are both affected by not only the relatability of the joke, but also that universal concept of like, damn, that is funny. And that's what brings people together. And that's what makes your audience go from 60,000 people to 6 people.
Yeah.
Because now y'all all laughing. Which is why a comedian will tell you, bro, a bomb is a bomb is a bomb. But whether I get a standing ovation in a room of 30 people or I get 3 people falling over, dying, laughing, what do you call that? Because I think it's a successful set.
It's a win. Yeah. No matter what, you still did your job.
So you can either witness the storm and tell the forecast, or you can be the storm.
I like that.
And I want to encourage you today, at the close of this podcast, become the storm, dog. Stop being a thermometer. Be the thermostat. Anybody can tell the temperature, bro, but be the reason why it's hot.
Well, you talked about knowing performance. Like you were an actor
Yeah, I
when you were
was.
younger, right?
Yes.
What got you into that?
Well, first of all, my mom. 'Cause my mom was a playwright, choreographer, and play director when I grew up. So it was really her. But on the other end of that, being able to live realistically under pretend circumstances is the concept of an actor.
Yeah.
So being able to live this fantasy world, but 100% believing you're in this fantasy world is what storytelling is. That's acting, that's singing, that's painting, that's drawing, that's oration, that's comedy. It's the whole thing. Directing.
It's true. But like you started out as a young actor, right? Like did that mold you in some way? Did that change your mindset? Like before you got into
Well, I
acting,
mean, it's always been about the discipline.
the discipline.
As a creative, you recognize that you have a responsibility to tell a story. As an actor, you're telling the story of these characters that you're portraying. As an artist, you're telling a story through these pictures that you are creating and composing. As a writer, you're telling the story through this material that you have transcribed. As a comedian, you're telling the story of these jokes, of these scenarios that are humorous.
That's true. I mean, but some people see comedy as like a drama.
It's all storytelling,
Yeah, it's all storytelling.
regardless of the genre.
I mean, so with you having a great sense of humor, you knowing so much about stand up, did you ever think about doing it?
Comedy?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Why?
I mean, I entertain the idea of getting up on stage and trying to tell jokes, but my mind doesn't work like that.
Have your friends ever tried to get you up on stage?
All of my friends have told me I should try comedy at least once. All of them. Men, women, children, small relatives, maybe the dog if they could talk. Like everyone has told me you should try comedy once or twice.
Uh-huh.
Everyone has told me that.
Well,
Absolutely not.
why not?
It's not my vibe, bro. It's not who I am.
But
I'm
you're
not a
naturally
comedian.
good at it.
Then let me be naturally good at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's hang out and fucking have some laughs. Like
Let's-
I'm not
yeah,
about to
yeah,
get up
yeah.
on stage and entertain an audience.
Exactly, because then it takes you out of it.
Yeah.
Because then you're not in your most natural state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do more good sitting where I am, being naturally funny, than I would ever do being a comedian and being on stage trying to tell jokes.
God, I wish other comics thought like you.
Some people would be like, you should be a comedian. They're like, I will. It is like, I didn't mean that. I just mean you're really, really funny, bro.
But it's a true thing. It's like some people think it's their purpose, but it's not.
No, it's
their
not.
true purpose. They probably haven't figured out, or they have, and it just like they just never really tapped into that potential.
Yeah. That's 100% a thing.
You know?
There's a difference between tapping into potential, and being that place, and it's another one saying like, hey, maybe you should give this a whirl and entertain the idea.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And I've entertained the idea. I'm just not interested in giving it a whirl.
that's totally fine.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, but when you were acting, did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved acting for what it was, for what it had for me at that time, for what it gave me at the time, what I earned from it, what I gained in regards to the experience and speaking in front of a crowd, being able to master garnering attention and being able to engage a mass of people with something they had not seen or heard before. So in that way, it's 100%. Yeah. But outside of that, that came in a time that was in that existence, and
Well, I'm only asking because I am interested.
Mhm.
in acting, but I'm also interested in directing, and I've heard from certain people and that you can only do one.
No.
No. What I mean by that is you can be an actor or director, but I'm saying in the moment when it's happening, it's better for you either to just direct or just be an actor. It's hard to do both at the same time.
Oh.
Like if I was doing,
I don't know.
sketch-
Ben Affleck directed The Town. He was pretty good in that.
Town is a good movie. Yeah,
Spike Lee directed Do the Right Thing.
Do the Right Thing.
He starred in that.
Just saw that recently.
Don Cheadle directed Miles Ahead, where he played Miles Davis. He did pretty damn good in that. These things are possible.
It's possible, but it's very difficult.
Well, I mean,
But
anything worth doing is difficult, though, bro.
Yeah.
Anything worth applying effort is
I
difficult.
think Spike Lee also found Rosie Perez.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just one of those things where I'm just like, I hear so many things from other people and I try to apply it into my world, right? And because I don't know.
Don't worry about
I've
what
never,
other people say, dog.
Huh?
Don't worry about what other people say.
No, I'm not talking about what other people say, but like
I'm just saying.
the things that experts say in their field. I try to take that and try to apply it into my life. And I'm not talking about something that just some random person says. Like,
No, I feel you.
Oh, you should
No, it's something that you would listen to that you feel like
somebody
is
that I
important knowledge.
yeah somebody that I respect.
Yeah, I feel you.
You know,
Somebody that has experience in the field in which you know,
I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not talking about just listening to some random guy. Like,
No, I feel you. I'm just saying in that regard, embrace that explorative spirit that you have. And feel free to explore the ideas. You know, write your own narrative and then act it out. Just see how that feels.
That's also the hardest thing.
And
too,
then film
because,
it.
Like, once I see that narrative, I know it's gonna affect me a certain way. If I don't like it, I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be angry because like I created something that I'm not happy with.
Well, the fact that you're sitting here saying and admitting this
Uh-huh.
is it shows courage, but at the same time, it shows that you still lack that confidence with going into those spaces that are uncomfortable. Because you're saying this before you even do it.
Yeah. No. But that's my process.
Yeah.
I talk about it first. I talk about like how it's gonna make me feel this and that, and then once I do it, of course I'm gonna feel a different way.
So you got to grab the guitar and do that.
I gotta get on stage with that
You
guitar.
got to get
man.
on stage with the guitar. With some shit you wrote.
Well, now I gotta
And
write
let the
s-
pieces fall where they may.
Okay, I'll do this. I'll say this on the podcast. My goal for, I'll say the end of the upcoming year,
Okay.
2024, would be to go on stage at an open mic and do two songs that I wrote, original songs, and perform them in front of like other people. That's what I'll do.
I think that's a good choice.
Yeah,
I think that's a good choice, and I think that's a good goal.
because like I said, I'm
and
a
I
purist.
look forward to seeing you working through that goal.
Yeah, because I'm a purist at the end of the day. So if I'm gonna do one thing, I'm gonna do it the way it's supposed to be done.
I believe in being a purist.
But I also I agree that me getting on stage doing stand up with the guitar would be cool too.
I support it.
Would be different.
I support the weird things.
Yeah, but I need to make sure I'm good at
One
thing first
before you combine it with something else.
Exactly.
I got you.
That's just how I am.
It's wisdom, and it's the discipline, so I respect it.
Yeah, motivation is what gets you to do something. Discipline is what gets you to keep doing it.
100%.
Yeah. Have you ever been scorned by somebody that you not loved, but like were interested?
Cared about a great deal?
Yes, cared about a great deal.
Absolutely.
How did that make you feel?
I mean, all of the things. It made me feel self-conscious. It made me feel inconfident. It made me feel emotionally incompetent. It made me feel sad. All of the bad things.
Okay, so I've been scorned by somebody I don't know at all, like a complete stranger. So this is a story that I wanted to tell on the podcast. I've been thinking about this for a minute. So when I was in middle school,
All right.
first day of class, this girl comes up to me, very cute girl. Like I grew up in A-Leaf in the hood.
Yep.
Very, very beautiful black girl.
Where'd you go to high school? I mean, where'd you go to?
Middle school,
Yeah.
Ollie Middle School.
Oh, you went to Ollie?
O-L.
Yeah,
Yeah, Crump? Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So I lived in the hood too.
No, I know.
No,
I know where the SWAT is.
Oh yeah, baby. Like that's all it is. I just saw this video recently where people were asking like, so where's the dangerous? What's the most dangerous part of Houston? Some people were like the South, some people were like the North. These were just regular people they asked. Then they asked a police officer, and he was like, "Oh, the Southwest." And I was like, "Yep."
Southwest is pretty consistent with danger.
Oh yeah, always. But going back, beautiful girl. She starts talking to me, and I at this point. I know a little bit about myself. I know like how I look, especially because I had big glasses, right? Can't see that well.
Like Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus glasses, or like
Man, they've always been like
Milton
hella
from like Office Space glasses.
Office Space.
Damn.
Yeah.
Where's my stapler?
So like I kind of had a sense of what I looked like, and I never really had that much self-confidence when I was younger because of my eyesight,
Okay.
you know, and also because I was like a chubby kid
How
too.
you felt about yourself?
I didn't like myself.
No, I'm just saying it was a reflection of how you felt about yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So when she starts coming up and talking to me, I'm kind of like hesitant because in my mind I'm just like, she doesn't like me.
Okay.
She's not talking to me.
Okay.
Like, da, 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 da. But she's flirting with me.
Okay.
And we talked for like the next couple like classes or whatever,
Okay.
right? The same class, I go up, we start talking together, we start sitting next to each other. I start getting more comfortable, and then by like the third or fourth time, I finally let my guard down, and then I try to talk to her more. And she's like, "Oh, I was just kidding." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Those guys over there paid me to talk to you."
Middle school.
Middle school. And then I look around, is these group of like other guys, and they're laughing. They're laughing.
Bro, kids are wild.
Yo!
Kids are wild, bro. Kids are wild.
It was one of those like defining moments in my life, and I was just like, I'm never gonna trust anybody ever again.
You got to put that in a movie.
Dog, it was a movie. It was like a movie.
Oh, it's definitely has happened before, but damn.
Yeah, but like it was just one of those things. It was like, why did it have to happen to me? It's because of the way I looked.
I mean, no.
No, it was.
No,
No, yes.
No. It happened because children are cruel.
Children are
Because
cruel.
those guys were assholes and that girl was a little bitch. That's the truth. That there's not a whole lot to that. That had nothing to do with what you looked like. It might have to them made it feel like you were an easy target.
That's exactly what I was. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's on them. It's not because you were an easy target. It's not because your glasses were thick. It's not because you were chubby. It wasn't because of any of those things. What they did to you had nothing to do with you and had everything to do with them. Either how they were raised, how they had been socially conditioned, how they completely think about themselves, how they think about others, or the fact that they have some type of psychotic issues and they felt that that was an appropriate time to act upon those things that they were thinking in their minds and those urges to do bullshit.
I completely agree, but it affects a certain person.
100% it affected you, but I'm just saying
it affects a
didn't.
person a certain way.
That
But
isn't a reflection on yourself.
It's not
That's
a
all I'm
reflection
saying.
on me, but the circumstance kind of like screwed me up for the rest of my life after that.
It wasn't your fault, but it became your problem.
It became my problem, yeah.
100%.
And I don't feel like that anything like that has ever happened to you.
It's trauma. Yeah. I've had women play the game. I've had women tell me that they were interested in me and disappear. It still happens. It's happened while I'm in my 30s.
I mean, it still happens to me now, but it's a different situation.
Why is it different for you?
Man, I'm usually the one ghosting.
Okay.
I ghost first. I like ghosting. I don't know
Why
why.
do you ghost first?
because of the middle school thing. I'm just like, I don't trust this other person.
Okay.
I think they're lying. I think they have
So let me
ulterior
dip.
motives.
So let me dip. That makes sense.
Yeah. It's just,
I mean, I find that like women have dealt with me in the past. Women have dealt with me with a long handled spoon because they've been duped or fooled
by
before
other men,
by
yeah.
guys who
Yeah.
either appeared too good to be true or like, nigga, you got some trick cards in your back pocket.
Yeah, you got something
Yeah.
you're trying to do.
Yeah. So that happens. And that's definitely happened to me on several occasions. And I've been ghosted before.
Yeah, but that's a part of life now. You know, that's
I mean,
just-
that's who we are.
yeah, this is what it is. And it's just like for me, trying to find somebody nowadays has become even harder.
Man, listen, this is what I found, okay? You run with all of your might towards your purpose and your passions, and anybody that has enough wind to keep up, you stop and introduce yourself. Until then, you continue to run. That's
And that's what I was thinking too, because like one of those things is like just get really
immersed.
immersed in what you're doing, and just keep doing it, and just keep getting better at what you're doing.
And everything that you're looking for will be looking for you.
Exactly.
That's 100% accurate, though.
Everything else will
That's
come.
100% correct.
But that's hard.
It's
That's hard to
I mean,
do.
but like I said before, anything worth effort is hard.
No, because I get immersed,
Uh-huh.
and then I see somebody that I like, and I'm just like, okay, let me go there instead of
Nah,
stay
fam,
here. You know,
gotta stay planted where you at.
yeah, that's
Because you
the
have to
thing.
water where you're planted. You water in somebody else's
Yeah, I'm
garden.
bringing my can to somebody else's.
That's not
yard.
gonna help
Yeah,
you grow.
Yeah,
Damn,
That's
that's a
true.
beautiful flower over there. They deserve to be watered the whole time your ass is dying.
mm-hmm.
God don't want that for you. You don't want that for you. Ultimately, even in sometimes in
That's
those
a beautiful
moments,
flower, though.
it's a beautiful flower. Fam.
Beautiful
But you
flower.
know what? That flower is gonna get everything that it needs.
Yeah, but what about your plants? That's a good point. God, I never thought of it that way.
Cause who gonna water you, Joe? When you down, when you out, when you know, who gonna encourage you? Who gonna tell you like, hey, bro,
Yeah.
get your shit together, let's go.
Yeah,
And you have to do that and continually do that for yourself so that somebody else can now like, all right, if this is the way that Joe treats himself, he's not going for no bullshit.
that is very true.
It's like when you meet women
that is very true.
and you meet a certain woman that is so good at self-care that you're like, I can't approach you with no bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I see how you treat yourself. So I know if you treat yourself that way and you're completely, content with being by yourself, then I know damn well you're not going to invite a stranger to come in and treat you less than that.
Yeah, and she's already seen like every trick in the book.
Another undefeated idea.
Yeah, so you got to come in with something different, and most of the time, just being yourself is different.
You know what drives me in my work? To create things that no one has ever seen. So I think what can also drive a lot of people, not only in their work and passion, but in their existence, is to continually show people what they have never seen. But in order to do that, you have to be willing to look for things that you have never seen. If you go outside expecting the same world will always show itself to you. But if you leave looking for things that you have never seen before, you will always find new discoveries, new revelations, new inspirations, new ideas, new shapes, new perception.
Mm-hmm. But I'll say this: be careful where you're looking.
Well,
Because when I was younger,
but your decisions that you make will lead you to where you're looking.
also the people you're around too,
Yeah, but you know it teaches that, right?
huh?
Experience. And what breeds experience? Wisdom.
Yeah. Well, I've been in situations where I've said like yes to everything, right?
Yeah.
Where I just like whatever comes my way, let's do it.
Just
whatever.
go with it.
There was this one time where
That means you're just existing, though.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah. You have to be moving in a direction in order to flow. If you're
Yeah.
moving everywhere, you're not flowing, you're just existing. It's not enough to just eat and breathe and make money, bro. It's not enough. And society will make you believe that it's enough, but that's not enough because you end up dying full. You want to die empty because you want to leave everything out on the field. When it's finally time to take off your uniform and hang your cleats up, you want to know that you did everything you possibly could to bring the victories home, right?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, if you're just running around on the field in no particular direction, you just wore some damn uniform and got, I don't know, applause for running and jumping. I want to win some games. I need some rings. I need some championships.
I don't want to just participate.
Yeah, bro, I need the spoils of war. I don't just want to be out there shooting in every direction. That's not how you become a hero. And then the basis of that is knowing that sometimes you'll finish the war without a congratulations because your job as a hero is not to be loved. Your job as a hero is to save the day. But that's another conversation. Because a lot of people think that being a hero is validation. Nah, being a hero is doing what you know to be right.
Yeah, doing the right thing no matter what.
And that saves the day. And that's what makes the hero the polar opposite of the villain. Because the villain really just exists. He's just out there running amok. There's no discipline. There's no motivation. There's no path.
Well, then I've been a villain for most of my life.
All right, well, it's time to switch up, fam.
And it's one of those things too, where like I have been switching up. Most of the things that I've seen, like I've seen like just me existing and not really having any certain path or goal or anything that I've been trying to do. And then now that I'm getting older, I'm like, I'm 31. I need to think more about myself and the steps that I'm taking and making sure that they're the right ones or there's a certain precision that I'm taking with them.
It's time to be locked in.
Time to be locked in, yeah.
Time
but
to be locked in.
To be locked in is another thing.
Yeah.
You know, to be enthralled with your own world and doing what you want to do. It's a scary thing.
It is. It is. It is.
Because like with
Definitely
you,
scary.
I feel like you're more locked in than a lot of other people. Like I said before, like you know who you are.
Mhm.
Like you know what you're trying to do.
Mhm.
But even you're a human being. There are some days where I feel like you don't feel like you're that locked in.
Well, 100%.
You know? And what do you do in those days though?
I mean, in those days when I don't feel as locked in, I have to either get myself centered or I have to wait for the next day. Seriously.
Just wait.
I mean, because some days it's like
Patience.
you're just not going to have it.
Yeah.
But you got to be patient with yourself, too. You got to be willing to know that some days I'm not going to be as locked in. I'm not going to be as engaged. You know, it's like some people say the good news is this won't last forever. The bad news is this won't last forever.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same answer.
Yeah. At a certain point, you got to come down off your throne.
Or you got to elevate to it.
But some people want to stay in the middle, though.
Right. And then that's when you're just existing. You're just going with
You're
the flow.
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a dead fish. You're a dead fish if you're just going with the flow.
So by the time you're like, what, 60, do you feel like you're going to have the same mentality?
I mean, prayerfully, it'll be even higher. Because the goal is not to be above people, it's to be beyond people. That means you have a higher calling because you have to work in that space of constantly elevating those around you. That's where that idea of changing the world comes in. You got to be foolish enough to think that you can make a difference. So hopefully when you get to 60, 65, 70 years old, you can speak these things, but you can actually say, I have lived these things. And I can tell you that my experience and who I am and my character and my maturity and my discipline is a testament to exhibiting these things. And that's what experience tells us.
And that's a tough thing, too, realizing those things. Realizing what you can and can't do.
What that means is that you can't take no days off. Every day you have to fight for that knowledge.
Every day.
Every
Every
day, bruh. Every day. There has to be a goal every day. Am I moving in this direction? Every day. Because if you get up and decide that today I'm just going to float around, then you don't never know when you've stopped floating. It's like a drift. And then you're like, at what point did I stop drifting? But if every day you make it a point to deep dive, then you will continue to dive.
See, I just realized recently that I've been drifting.
100%, bro.
But I didn't realize I was drifting. I
That's
was just
the thing,
existing.
because you'd been drifting for so long.
Yeah.
But see, the good news is because you realized that you were drifting, now you have direction. Even if you feel as though one day, oh, this might not be the right direction, or I'm not quite where I need to be, that still shows that you're what? You're pressing.
But here's the thing. I'm not mad at the choices that I've made.
No, don't be mad,
that's
bro.
growth.
Bro,
That's
to
understanding.
Be,
that's
to
learning.
Be Joe now, you would have had to be Joe then.
Yeah, I had to go through all the stuff that I went through to be me, to be
And
this
that
person.
was your decision.
Yeah.
Because our lives are
Some of it was
compilations of decisions.
Me being me now is my decision.
100%.
Who I was back then wasn't a decision. That was my environment.
100%.
You know, that was what, and just me realizing that.
Yeah. But now you realize that you have a choice.
I have a choice. I've always had a choice. I just didn't know it.
100%.
And like my choice now is just to be a good person and to do my best always
Absolutely.
at whatever I do.
And not to torture yourself with these mental and emotional gymnastics.
And that's the thing. I don't try to torture myself. They just pop up sometimes. I'm just sitting down watching
Well, then
TV.
now you have a decision to
Yeah. When they come
rid of
now,
that.
when they show up, when the thoughts pop up,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, let me think about what's happening right now, but I have to get away from this.
Yeah.
Just accept it for what it is. Just say, hey, okay, cool. That was a part of my life. That actually happened. Da 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 this, da da that. But let me move on.
You have to be aware of the enemy to fight it.
Yeah, but the enemy is me. I'm always fighting myself.
All right. Well, you have to be aware of that to fight it. But
Yeah.
you're fighting a lesser version of yourself, though.
Yeah.
The higher Joe is fighting the lower version of you, and that's ego.
The
it's
higher
id.
me has been losing for a while, but he's finally getting back on top.
All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah. It's like
Well, man is made
Brazilian
pre-pronged,
Jiu-Jitsu,
right?
It's like BJJ. Like the lesser
Don't
me
say
was,
BJJ again.
Okay.
But go ahead.
Why? What's wrong with BJJ?
It just sounds awful.
Okay, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
It's like BJJ.
It's like Jiu-Jitsu, okay? Like my lesser self was on top and I'm just guarding myself the whole time, but I
Yeah.
finally found a way to like switch.
Well, yeah, because you got to be active.
Uh-huh.
If you keep your lesser self locked up on constant defense, then you can't open yourself for the good things that are coming.
Of course.
Man is a spirit who lives in a body and possesses a soul. Your soul is the I want, I need, I desire. You have to feed this ego and this id.
yeah.
I.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas it's like your spirit is the part of God that dwells within you, right? And then your flesh, your physical man, your body is like, if I cut you, you'll bleed. If you starve yourself, you will die. If you don't drink anything, you'll thirst and you'll die.
Dehydrate.
7 days. Yeah, exactly. But now you have the ability to kind of repress your ego and now kind of grow from who you really are. And then that's why your spirit man becomes eventually 1,000 times larger than your physical man. Because then you're just like, I'm in control.
Yeah.
I'm where I need to be.
Well, from our first conversation that we had, the first episode.
First
podcast that we recorded.
Yeah.
You were talking about low vibrational activities.
Yes.
And after listening to that and researching it, I was just like, oh, I've been doing a lot of low vibrational activities.
Some low vibrational activities are cool, man. But when we get caught in that cycle, we just start existing.
Yeah.
When we get caught in that space of like, boom, day after day after day after day, I'm vibrating lower and lower and lower, or I'm vibrating just here at this frequency. But once you get to here, like you said, then you're locked in, because then you're like, all right, I may not always be here, but I know for a fact I'm higher than where I normally am. And as long as you're aware of that, now you're aware that you can unlock the consciousness of being like, okay, now I know I can vibrate at this level.
Can we get much higher?
So high. Oh.
God damn it.
True story.
Yeah. No, but I like that. I like that a lot. And it's just like, you're right. But keeping up with yourself is a very important thing too.
It's
like
of the
self-maintenance.
It's of the utmost importance, bro.
Yeah, but some people don't do that. Some people are
I mean, just think, eventually, bro, if you stop putting gas in your car, what's going to happen?
you're going to have to walk.
If you stop checking your oil, what's going to happen?
It's going to mess up. Engine's gonna mess up.
If you stop getting a tune-up, what's gonna happen?
You gonna not be happy.
If you don't get an inspection, what happens?
You get pulled over and get a
Man,
ticket.
you have to constantly maintain, all of that. Mountain. You have to constantly check in with yourself. You have to constantly work in that space.
Yeah, but there was a time where I just was acting and I wasn't really giving myself time to cool down or think about what was actually happening. I just had to go.
No, for
It's
sure.
like it's being in survival mode.
But you can't. You burn out in survival mode.
Oh yeah, I've burnt out like multiple times.
100%.
Yeah. But
And sometimes you don't always bounce back either. Damn, goats too.
yo, true. That's true. Miles Davis.
Oh man, one of the greatest musicians to ever walk the earth.
Oh yeah. No, I'm looking at your vinyl right now. Birth
Oh
of the
man,
Cool.
yeah, I got Miles over there. I got Johnny Hartman over there. I got some Duke Ellington over there. I got some John Coltrane over there. I have some Cannonball Adderley over there.
You're a musician as well. You play guitar.
Bit of a musician.
Bit. Well, so have you played on stage?
No,
So you're telling me to do it, but you haven't done it yourself?
I'm not a fucking comedian, Joe.
No, musician. I'm talking about playing music on stage.
Yeah, that's not my focus right now. My focus is the artwork.
But you like it though.
Yeah, I
that's
love
part
it.
of you, of who
I
you
will,
are,
I will eventually get on stage though, for sure.
and play.
Yeah. My goal is actually to play at my next show.
Really?
My next solo exhibition, I will play the guitar.
Your last one was amazing though.
Ah, bro, I'm great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad that I got to go.
I'm super excited that you came, dog.
Yeah, man.
That was an amazing experience.
Oh man, just to look at all the art and the people there appreciating it and just all the good vibes around.
It was a blessing, dog. I'm grateful that happened. I look forward to the next one. It's going to be insane. I hope you will be there. It's going to be insane. It's going to be next October of 2024. I'll have the actual date soon, but I know for a fact it will be October of next year.
Okay, then let me work on my skills. If you're gonna play, then I'm gonna play too.
All right.
Play a song. I mean, but how do you feel about it now? Do you feel like, oh, all your hard work is paying off, or are you looking for something more?
I mean, part of it is, well, your hard work is paying off, but a large part of it is like, am I being true to the work? That's really the most important part. You know, people always ask me, like, you know, as an artist, what are your, like, 5-year goals? What's your 10-year goal or whatever? And really, it's like just making meaningful work. That's it. The work has to be true to me, and it has to authentically flow out of me for it to reach people. It's no longer about, like, Wayne, you're doing such a good job, or this is nice, or Wayne, you just sold $10,000. That's great. But it's just like, if the work isn't me, if the work isn't honest, if the work isn't pure, if the work isn't authentic to who I am, then what's the point? I might as well still be a bartender. Like, it has to be more, it has to be less and less about me each time I create work. Yeah, it's work that I made, but it has to be less ego every time. That's the only way it's going to work. That's the only way the work's going to stay pure. If you're constantly looking for more. If you're constantly looking for more, your work will always be pure.
So with your last exhibition, what was your thought process getting into it?
Well, music is a huge inspiration, as it always is. So that was a large part of it. Also, really kind of embracing where I was with my love and my passions, my ideas, how they could be of service to someone else, to others that saw the work, and letting God work through me. Those are my primary objectives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everything else is chit chat. I wanted to get to the point where people can go to my show and see my work in my exhibitions, and I have to say nothing. I don't even want an artist talk. I want people to come in and see the work and get everything that they need from the visual experience. I want them to be so engaged with the work that they don't even need to talk to me afterwards. Now, if people feel moved, oh man, your work touched me. Your work inspired me. That's amazing. Your work motivated me. It gave me something that I didn't come here with. That's a blessing. But outside of that, what's your inspiration? I don't need that. Because knowing my inspiration from my work, how does that really benefit you? In the grand scheme, step back as an observer, as an audience member, as someone seeing the work.
Well, for me personally, I like learning about people, learning their processes, learning how they think.
But how does that
help
How
me?
does that inspire and directly help you? How
Honestly,
does it impact
if
you?
I'm being completely honest,
Okay.
with all our conversations about your inspiration and what got you to do certain things, it has helped me.
Okay.
It's helped me see outside of myself, first of all, into somebody else's life who really cares and is passionate about what they're doing, is enthralled in their world, and that kind of motivates me to do the same.
Yeah.
Because like if we're talking like passion, of course I have a passion for writing jokes, but the discipline isn't always there sometimes. But every time I talk to you, every time I see you, I always get like excited and this bit of like energy of getting back into my work, getting back into my world, and like what am I doing to keep that passion going.
Then what you said may have just changed my life, because I had literally come to this place where I'm just like, how important is my voice really in the grand scheme of all of this?
Your voice is very important. Look at the people around you, the people that interact with you. Like, I'm pretty sure you have touched their lives in a certain way. Not the same in everyone, but with how you interact with them, how you talk to them, what you say. You being so yourself inspires me to do that within myself, because like we're in this podcast now, we're talking about now, like I'm so insecure that I can't be myself around other people, but when I'm around you, I'm perfectly fine.
Yeah. You're fluent, you're honest, you're straightforward, you're unapologetic, you're direct,
Yeah.
you're clear,
Yeah.
sober.
Yep.
Shit, that's coming from
Yeah.
me. You've seen me drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel you, and that's a blessing to hear that from you, for real.
Yeah, but sometimes you need that outside source to see yourself. Sometimes you
Right.
need to.
We need mirrors.
You need to get outside of yourself to truly see yourself.
We need mirrors, for sure.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm the same way. I don't know how I impact people. I've heard people like tell me like I've impacted their life in a certain way, and just me thinking like,
How?
Really? Yeah.
How?
Like, and I'll tell you this one story. When I was younger, when I was like maybe in high school, like 16, 17, my mom's boyfriend, he was a Marine. Like, he showed me a lot. He showed me like how to be a man and stuff like that. And because of him, I was inspired to be a Marine, and I would talk about it with one of my friends. And one day I was at a movie theater just watching a movie, and I get a text, and it was just like, "Hey man, I want to thank you for your talk and everything. Because of you, I enlisted in the Navy."
Wow.
And you know what my first thought was?
Why the fuck did you enlist in the
Exactly.
Navy, dog?
Exactly.
What did I say that could have brought you to that conclusion?
Yeah, but
that you needed to do that.
It was one of those things where I was just like, how did I impact this person so much that they felt the need to do that?
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand it.
Man, you never know what comes from one person to the next when it comes to like inspiration. So I get that.
But I've also had that in other aspects with other people telling me that I inspired them in some certain way, and my whole goal was never to do that. It was just to be myself.
True.
You
True.
know?
Sometimes you'll inspire people by just existing.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
And I've heard other people like congratulate me and tell me like good stuff about my work ethic and everything that I do and all that. And of course, it makes me feel good. But then another thought is like, okay, if that's how that impacts the world, then I need to keep doing this more.
Yeah, I can agree with you fully on that. Excuse me. I noticed your work ethic long ago. Long ago. And that was one of the things that brought me to really respect you and want to get to know you.
Yeah, but they even...
So when we finally met and talked and, you know, connected, there was already a space of, like, respect.
Yeah.
For me. Just letting you know.
I appreciate that.
Not for sure.
I do.
For sure.
I mean, but talking to you the first time, there was also that mutual respect. Because from listening to you, I understood how wise you were, how intelligent you were, how outspoken, how unequivocally yourself
Thank you.
you were, and that just inspired me to like go like, well, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, what am I putting out to the world that people see,
For sure.
and in understanding and be like, oh, that's Joe.
For sure.
But is that the person that I choose to be, or is that the person that I am? You know, and for most of my life, that's just the person that I've chosen to be. The person that I really am hasn't even been on stage yet. If that makes any sense.
Nah, that's good, bro.
I'm still like, all I'm doing right now in these next couple years, these next formative years for me as a creative, as a stand-up,
For sure.
is to get the guy that I am at home, who everybody loves, the funny guy, the great guy, the awesome guy, on that stage.
You have to continue to shed those layers, man.
I gotta keep
That's all I
sharpening
can.
that
That's
sword.
all I can. I can really.
But I
say.
have seen glimpses of myself, of my true self on stage. I've seen glimpses, but not completely. You know, and that's just gonna come with time. The longer I do this, the better I'm gonna get. But I just need to make sure that I'm making the right steps so I can stay in it as long as I can. Because that's the one problem that I've seen with like a lot of other comedians is like substances, alcohol, personal life gets in the way, and they just can't do it anymore.
For sure.
And I need to make those right steps so I can just be like, hey, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life and just keep building content, keep gaining a fan base, keep having people watch me because they like me, they like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just like with you and your art.
Man, thank you, dog. Thank you. It's crazy that that's even a thing, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, but you made it a thing.
I mean, thank you. That's all I can say. Yeah, no, I mean, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, just keep doing you.
Thank you.
Honestly, man.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. Well, you good or?
I mean, I'm pretty solid.
Pretty good? All right.
Pretty solid.
Well, I guess I'm going to end it off here.
I hope the people rock with it, man. I hope y'all get, whatever y'all need out of it or want out of it or, at least laugh once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going back to that feeling, that first episode we recorded gave me the best feeling.
Oh, wow.
And don't get me wrong, I've had that same feeling with like other guests that I've had.
But that first one was crazy.
That first one was really good for me.
I'm so glad, dog.
I just kept listening to it. It was one of those few episodes where like I'm editing and I'm just like, oh, let me go back to the start. Let me listen to this all over again. Because like I do love conversing with you.
Thank you, bro.
I always find out something new about myself by talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate you.
For sure.
And well, I guess we're gonna end it off here. I don't know. You want to?
What? You want me to say something?
No. This is a good point.
Play music. Something?
Oh, you want to play? Yeah. What's a good song?
What you want to do? What was you thinking?
No, I feel like this is a good point to end off.
All right.
I usually end off on something funny, but I don't feel like it this time. I feel like this is good.
All right. Well, Merry Christmas, pilgrims.
All right, deuces.
For sure.